Good evening, Jay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Leaders in Action, Season 4, Episode 4, entitled Proudly MDRT. Tonight, we will talk about what makes an MDRT, how MDRTs adapt to the dramatic changes in the business, and how being an MDRT helps in the growth of the industry.
Good evening, Mr. IB, and good evening to all our friends of Leaders in Action. We are so happy that you're able to join us again tonight, and we hope that all is well with everybody. Indeed, we have seen how companies have aggressively and consistently promoted and campaigned MDRT membership. But unfortunately, only a small percentage of the agency force is able to qualify yearly. So maybe tonight we'll be able to get some answers for that mystery. But before we move on, we would like to thank again our special guest last week, Mr. Joe Ferreria, the Managing Director of LIMRA, Loma, and Loma Global Philippines. So thanks again, Mr. Joe, for joining us last week. You can watch again the replay of our episode on our Facebook page and YouTube channel.
Today's customers are evolving. Being more informed, they expect a high level of professionalism from those they transact with, including financial advisors. How does being an MDRT help the advisor meet the higher expectations of customers?
Yes, and for the life insurance industry to have sustained growth, agency distribution must continue to expand and to thrive in the digital world, as we clearly saw during these past 2 years. How does having more MDRTs help in that respect? To help us answer these questions and more, we are very happy to be joined tonight by the MDRT Philippines country chair and Mr. IB, fresh na fresh. She's also the newly appointed president of the LUAP, herself a life and qualifying MDRT member. Ladies and gentlemen, dear leaders, please help me welcome our special guest sharer for tonight, Miss Agnes Ng-Tan. Hi, Agnes.
Hello, Miss J and Sir IB. Hello,
Hi.
all leaders in the Philippines and perhaps across the nation, no?
Yes, talagang nakikinig sa atin, Agnes, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Welcome to Leaders in Action. Finally, natuloy na rin ang ating episode, no? So, thank you very much for your time. And again, Mr. NIB and I would like to congratulate you on your appointment, okay, as the new president of LUAP. At the same time, no, president rin ng MDRT Philippines. Hindi ka naman masyadong busy, Agnes, no?
No, ma'am. I think this is really more than any title. I think it's really more on, the capacity that people think you can. And I think it really humbles us all the more when you'd have more designations assigned to you.
That's also a reflection of their trust in your leadership, Agnes, no? But for tonight, you will be wearing mostly the hat of the MDRT chair, no, in our interview. So, umpisahan na natin because I know you're so busy. Agnes, siguro for the benefit of our listeners, can you just briefly share with us about MDRT Philippines, what its mission and vision is?
So MDRT MCC Philippines, or what we call MDRT Membership Communications Committee Philippines, is actually an umbrella coming from the MDRT headquarters. So Million Dollar Roundtable in US actually has different channels that they can give and send their communications all over the world to encourage, engage, and also keep in touch with all the members. So each country has an MCC country or representative, which in the Philippines, it's MDRT MCC Philippines. So all the communications, of course, each country has different cultures. So when they would put different membership committee communications in each country, it will also be in sync with the culture of every country. to help address the concerns and also the help them be encouraged all the time. So that's what MCC is doing, aside from not just giving seminars, but really being a community that would be available and accessible to all the members and even aspirants.
Okay. And how has the membership grown through the years, Agnes?
Oh, okay. All throughout the years, actually, surprisingly, there are people who are very interested of wanting to be MDRT. Yung mga nandun sa MDRT who has been consistently doing MDRT, you'd be surprised that even pandemic did not stop them from qualifying. At the same time, you will also see those MDRT who, for lack of a better term, made it in a first year or maybe by chance or maybe by qualifications, and they're not yet imbibed with the culture of MDRT. Sometimes they get discouraged and fall off from the qualifications. But during this pandemic, actually, there are a lot of first-time members who qualified. So you would really see new leaders, new people with so much compassion and grit and passion coming into the membership as well.
Yeah, that's nice to hear, no? Because especially that we are really promoting MDRT, no, in the Philippines. It's good to know na talagang merong mother para organization, no, that really takes care of that very special segment of the industry. I'd like to know more a little later, no, kung paano nag-thrive yung ibang mga MDRT, sabi mo nga, during the pandemic.
Agnes, again, thank you for being with us. Organizations pivoted and made changes during the pandemic, diba, to stay relevant.
Yes.
Kayo sa MDRT Philippines, what did you do so that your presence was felt by your members? And ano yung mga initiatives nyo na inintroduce ninyo para supportahan sila?
Yes, when pandemic started, what right away MDRT Philippines did was to rise above the challenge, which is to have a virtual sessions. So the first virtual, actually when 2019 coming into 2022, there was a Philippine Life Insurance Congress that we did not stop coming out. It was the first virtual meeting when pandemic and lockdown came was on March 2020. This was in relation with a partnership with Life Underwriter Association Philippines. So MDRT Philippines and LUAP joined as always before, and have a platform which is through virtual. So we invested in website. We also invested in virtual platform just to open the kind of Philippine Life Insurance Congress still available during pandemic. And at the same time, we also it was also first in history that we had nationwide first-time member qualifiers coming from pandemic. These are, to be honest, these are the actual heroes, how they really qualified when pandemic came. Virtual, everything was virtual. When our business was really face-to-face, how we deal with clients was really physical. But then we welcome all these first-time members and had the first-time member assembly nationwide, attended around 600 members, just to tell them and encourage them and also equip them with the MDRT culture. So maybe later along the line, as we go on our conversation, we'll go deeper of what truly is to be an MDRT member and the benefits of being one.
Well, I think, again, thank you. I totally agree na yung keeping them very much within the environment of MDRT helps a lot. Alam ko yung kapag nag-experience mo the first time, lalo na face-to-face at that time, talagang hindi ka nabibitaw sa di ba, sa MDRT kasi nakita mo yung pagkakaiba . Ano yung plano ng MDRT? This year or next year, face-to-face na ba yung convention?
Actually, this year, US has already have physical convention, annual meeting convention. However, due to the situation in Asia and the war in Ukraine and all the US embassies still not available for the visa, not everybody is able to go. Although there's another convention upcoming, which is Global Convention in Sydney around September. So hopefully, hopefully there would be more Filipinos able to go. And at least at the same time, go back to the norm na hindi na virtual lang. It's really different when you have a convention that's physical.
Sana matuloy talaga yun kasi again, based on our experience, once ma-experience mo yun, ayaw mo nang bitawan eh. Okay,
That's
good. Jay?
That's true, no? Agnes, you mentioned that during the height of the pandemic, marami pang naging first-time MDRTs, no? While at the same time, meron din namang, sabi mo nga, medyo the fall, no? From being an MDRT. Pero ang nakalagang nakaka-amuse are the people, no? Your members who even manage to qualify to the higher tiers, COTs and TOTs. Just like you, who made your third, di ba, COT last year. Agnes, how were you able to do it?
I guess during pandemic, you'll be surprised that we people have really big capacity to adapt to difficult situations. There are challenges that even ourselves, when we are really determined of wanting to do something, talagang you will have that kind of curiosity and hunger to achieve things. So during pandemic, more than achieving things, I'd like to say also that at the height of pandemic, there was a huge opportunity for each individual, not only for the financial advisors naman siguro, but for everyone to discover and unlock skills and to expand each person's capacity, both to be better in your character, in your professional and skills. And I must say, siguro the factor that really contributed the wins to the members are really coming from deep grit and passion. Na really to make a difference in the lives of people. Particularly, pandemic was really inevitable for people to get sick and even death. So during this pandemic, our industry is really privileged for all the financial advisors, especially if you are really committed to what you're doing. We are actually called frontliners, financial frontliners rather, which all the MDRT advisors actually are the ones providing comfort to the bereaved families and deliver claims, no? These claims, they say, no, pag namatay may nakukuha. Kung hindi ka mamatay, hindi mo makukuha. But to be honest, when all these things are happening, we are the first people to deliver hope and promises to the bereaved families. When those clients passed away, we were the ones who reminded their family that this was the dream that their parents or their family members had long time ago, and it did not stop even after their passing. And also during the time of pandemic, I think a lot of people saw the importance of really being financially stable by having medical insurance. And the only ones who can provide this are what I want to call the financial frontliners, which are the financial advisors. So it was not more than just achieving part of the table or top of the table. It was really the need of wanting to supply those needs to our Filipino clients, and also making sure that our Filipino dreams are worth continuing and even fighting for.
Yeah, I really like the term that you use, no, financial frontliners, no, because we usually heard the medical frontliners, no, at talagang we were really talaga being accorded them the hero, no, na title natin sa kanila. Pero yun na nga, no, in terms of the financial aspect, no, kayo naman yung talagang tinatawag natin mga financial frontliners heroes, no. And as you have said, yung pagiging COT, pagiging TOT or just the results, okay? But it's really more yung passion nyo, yung grit nyo to continue, no, providing that financial security, no, and protection, no, to the clients natin and to the Filipinos. And for that, no, congratulations and thank you for the likes of you na talagang hindi kayo nagpatalo, hindi kayo tumigil, no, but you really continued, no, doing the best what you do best, no, and that is really protecting and securing the future of the Filipinos.
Certainly, there are many inspiring stories during the pandemic, no, and the industry showed to the entire country na talagang maraming possible heroes. Now, companies, Agnes, alam mo naman na they're doing their best to promote MDRT membership amongst the ranks, di ba? Kaya lang, unfortunately, not many make it. Sa palagay mo, why do you think that there are only quite a few advisors who manage to qualify?
Well, it's not just in the Philippines, it's across the world that they say being part of the $1 Million Roundtable is actually the top 1%. I'd like also to think as if we are running a marathon. People who run a marathon are only just top 1%. I think this has to do not just with the company, but it's really with the mindset of the individual of how they'd like to stay committed even during tough times. In a marathon race, no one's really rushing you. No one's really telling you if you're fast or slow. It's really about completing and finishing the race. So in the same aspect in our life and being a financial planner, to be honest, it's really about how many lives you really wanted to touch. So as you have that kind of mindset, the pressure is automatically taken off from you. It's more than sales. It's more than a quota. It's lives that you are actually transforming. So I think it's the way maybe how we communicate and talk to ourselves as well, despite of what the company or the industry is saying. At the end of the day, yes, we are measured by numbers, and we are also seeing that numbers do not lie. But I actually think and believe that numbers is actually an outflow of a committed heart, of wanting to do your commitment and deliver the kind of passion that you have told yourself of what kind of a Filipino advisor you want to be, or a Filipino citizen you want to be. So it goes deeper than just a motivation. And I'd like to say also that an individual is really motivated from the inside more than what others or outside can do. Companies and other organizations, of course, do their best and can do as much as possible. And but it's different if it's really coming from inside.
Totally agree with you that at the end of the day, it's the individual's responsibility to really make the most of the opportunities before him. No? But having said that, notwithstanding the many efforts of companies, meron ka pa bang nakikitang sanang ginagawa pa ng kumpanya o ng mga other organizations to to empower the individuals to see the beauty and the opportunity of becoming an MDRT?
What we usually do in MDRT Philippines is we actually get in touch with all the companies and invite them to have a courtesy to have us have a courtesy call with them. So during the courtesy call, we actually share to them not just about the culture and what the benefits of being an MDRT member, but I think the company really has to imbibe being themselves as a member of an MDRT, like maybe send trainers or officers to really understand what MDRT is. It's really more than a logo, more than a brand, more than a prestige. So once the company really understand what it is to be an advisor, at the same time to be an internationally recognized advisor, then they'd be able to, speak the language and transmit what needs to be transpired or cascade what needs to be cascaded. So advisors are really, dynamic and intelligent. Most of the million-dollar roundtable advisors are responsible for their own feelings, but at the same time, they also are very encouraged when a company is really recognizing them and understand what the kind of world they are. Maybe to set an example is sometimes when we are in a training, a good seminar for MDRT set apart only would be better than just mixing it all with the rookies and other levels, or maybe just have that kind of level of elite club to give them that kind of environment that these people recognizing that they are really different from, set apart from the rest of the advisors. So that's one thing. And the next thing is the more in sync MDRT Philippines and MDRT headquarters and the companies have, the more it becomes louder and clearer of what message we wanted all these MDRTs and even the aspirants wanted to achieve, or we want them to achieve. So at least one voice.
Yeah, I think that's very important. Siguro ngayon ang nangyayari, ang nakakaintindi lang ng MDRT, yung nasa distribution. I'm not sure if, let's say, operations people in the back room guys do understand what being an MDRT means, di ba? Nabanggit ko siguro baka something that the staff and executives can think about. How can they create a culture within the organization that really supports and fully aligns with the MDRT culture? Para pag kinausap sila ng MDRT nila, kahit nasa accounting ka o kahit saan ka, nakakaintindi ka kung ibig sabihin ng MDRT at gagawin mo rin yung quality na inaasahan mo sa isang MDRT.
Yeah, that's true, no?
Yes.
Agnes, you said that MDRT is more than a slogan, more than a logo, and definitely more than just the income requirement. So in your being an MDRT na for more than 10 years already, no? Ano ka na eh, life, no? And qualifying member ka na. What is really an MDRT? I mean, what makes an advisor an MDRT? Ano ba yung distinct characteristic ng isang MDRT that sets them apart from the regular advisors?
That actually clients don't really remember your accolades or the achievements. And of course, no, I always been sharing to when I'm talking or giving a talk that the recognition each company gives, or even our own industry, whether it's local, international, to be honest, that kind of lingo, not everybody understands. So clients actually don't look for how much success you have. It's really about if you are dependable, if you're reliable, if you're equipped as a financial planner. Of course, as I've mentioned, clients will never remember all our achievements. I think I also don't remember all the accolades that I was recognized. Of course, I'm grateful, pero the moment you remember all of them, it goes to your head. I remember, every time we go through, for me, every recognition is actually a reminder of how many challenges you've went through, how many uphill climbs that you have went through that would mold one's character. So the more your character is being molded, the more humble you get, the more mature you get. And clients are quick to determine if you're really genuinely caring for their well-being rather than for your own. So I think MDRT is really actually not just a logo or a brand. It's actually a person. The person is you, the person is me, and it's just an overflowing of my being excellent, being determined, being compassionate, all these character traits that not just clients look for, even our family members, our friends would be drawn and attracted to. So I think clients just look for an outflow of an advisor, whether you be an advisor, a doctor, a client. You want that kind of compassion, professionalism that's given to you more than any prestige that you might have in the in your cap.
So sabi nga nila ba parang you don't have to really do extraordinary things, but just to do ordinary things extraordinarily. Diba? So I think yun yung ginagawa ng mga MDRTs, no? Talagang patience, sobrang patience lang kayo, no? Compassion, sobrang compassionate kayo. No? Yung parang mas palaging one notch higher kayo. So siguro related to that, and somehow na-touch mo na to kanina, but maybe I just want to pursue it a little more. What makes an MDRT parang aspirational for the regular advisors? Why would they aspire to become an MDRT then?
Ironically, people see achievements as a destination. But to be honest, as I grow older, admittedly, I'm growing in this industry. As we grow older, you'll understand that in every achievement and in every destination, there is a process and steps that you will learn. And if you will not achieve and even long to reach that kind of achievements, there will be no steps for you to go through to challenge yourself. And there will be no challenge or no determination, na meaning wala kang growth at all, that you will always be comfortable where you are. To aim for being an MDRT, aside from being prestige and all the, of course, the benefits that you get out of, it's really the resilience that you're building in your character, and the humility and the in-depth understanding of you being a human being, wanting to make a difference in another person's lives. If you cannot really conquer yourself, it's really hard to be a blessing to other people. So going through this MDRT and achieving these things, it's actually conquering your own giants, facing your own fears. And year after year, people would say, you've already done it once, you will do it twice, third and fourth. Every MDRT year is actually different and dynamic. So every year you achieve MDRT, you've actually climbed different uphill climbs. You've actually faced different fears and even stages of life that you have to adjust and keep on waking up from your bed, whether you feel like it or not. So I think, MDRT is really about conquering yourself first so that you'll be helpful to other people.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you, Agnes, for that.
Agnes, I understand na at the end of the day, it's not the designation. It's how you deal with your client that is most
Yes.
important, diba?
Yes.
But in our industry, we always say that MDRT is the symbol of professionalism.
Mm.
If I am a customer, I would want my advisor to have that symbol of professionalism, correct? So
Yes.
therefore, hindi ba dapat ang industry uh, pinopromote ang MDRT not for the designation, but for what it represents? So my question is, what do you think should the industry, the companies, and your organization must do so that the general public will want that their advisors will be the symbol of professionalism, which is MDRT.
Mm. Yes. So I think the whole time MDRT promotes the whole person concept. It's not just about being successful in one aspect, which of course in our industry, we are in the financial world. We are being measured by finance and how much achievements we have made. But to be to be honest, the way that I can just share my personal experience that I went through being an MDRT year after year is really understanding that it's really about being holistically balanced. So if you wanted to be successful as an individual and in an organization and also through companies, it's important to address the whole being. So which are the major aspects in one's personal lives? These are financial, physical, emotional, um, spiritual, and also mental. When we say financial, it's not just about how much you talk, the knowledge or literacy you have, but you as an individual, as an advisor, as a leader, you also have to be financially more than stable, financially overflowing, so that you will also understand how it is to feel. Example, if the stock market is going down, are you really into it? Do you understand what's going on? When we talk about mental fitness, it's really about what you feed your mind. Are you feeding the right things in your mind so that you also give others the right feeding with your clients or your family members? And when we say about emotional, are you having a good relationship with your bosses, with your clients, with your family members? So um, to be honest, it's more than just the prestige, but of course, you also have to have that kind of success that would give, because your success is actually the first credibility that clients would look into. Are you successful enough and knowledgeable enough to give me the kind of advice you have? Say, for example, if you tell the clients that, an average person should have how many numbers of policy, you don't stop with one policy. If the advisor or if the client would ask you, how about you? How many policies do you have yourself? Have you experienced, challenges of, not able to pay your insurance? These things is more than just knowledge. It's actually at the level of being relatable to your clients. Once they feel that they cannot relate to you and you cannot relate to them, they lose their trust automatically. So I think our companies right now are really supportive to, in the sense of understanding that MDRT is really important. It's just how we together evolve on how to communicate to the advisors and of course to other external clients as well, understanding what the real industry is all about and what $1 million roundtable is all about. Kasi akala nila, earning millions tapos na. But there's more to that.
If I'm a client and I hear about the whole person program of MDRT, the more that I will want to deal with that advisor. So again, meron bang initiative ang association or any company na talagang ipopromote ang MDRT sa general public para talagang kumbaga parang ay kailangan somewhere in the mind ng kailangan ng advisor mo MDRT kasi quality yan, kasi whole person yan. Meron bang kayong naiisip na promote MDRT to the general public?
When pandemic hit, actually even before pandemic, Sir ID, MDRT headquarters has actually expanded their platform in the website. It can be accessible by any individual.
Yeah.
At the same time, the companies are also, I'm not sure if it's all, but which most companies that I've been exposed to or I've known that they're actually sending clients letters, yes, that their advisors are actually qualified and as an MDRT member. But to be more specific, we're actually still improving in that area in the sense that maybe we're looking into if all will go well, that MDRT Philippines will have a kind of videos for external people to really
Yeah.
understand what the
Yeah.
industry is all about.
Oo, makakatulong 'yun para mas maengganyo. Kung ako naman advisor at naiintindihan ng customers na kailangan pala MDRT ang kanilang kakausapin, pilitan talaga ako maging MDRT.
Yes, yes.
Tama yun. Because sabi nga ni Agnes, no, some companies are sending letters to their clients introducing that their advisors is an MDRT. So medyo kung ako yung client, tapos bakit di daw nakatanggap ng letter
Yes,
about my
yes.
MDRT, di ba? Parang mahihiya din yung advisor ko na bakit ako hindi ako nakakatanggap ng ganung letter introducing you, no? So kahit paano na-increase din yung consciousness ng mga ng mga clients natin. Now, also Agnes, sabi nga natin kanina, with the advent of technology, talagang clients natin become so knowledgeable, talagang nagiging mas complicated na ang and complex na ang market natin. And that's why we need more quality candidates, no? Quality advisors joining the industry. How do you think having an MDRT in the team or in the company help in recruitment and even in attrition?
Whether you have an MDRT in the team or not, it's really a very dynamic industry, and the level of commitment of an individual, no matter how vast a company is sharing of the culture of being an advisor, it really depends on the individual's success and resilience on how long he will be staying in an industry that is commission based. At the same time, having an MDRT in the team, of course, really helps because it's a epitome of success. At the same time, epitome of resilience. That a result of being resilient person will actually arrive to the destination that he wants to go, which is maybe being an MDRT or more. It's also important, based on my experience. I handled team for 7 years. Every year, I've never let go of my own personal production, because I believe if you are a leader that you wanted to influence people, your walk is louder than your talk. The most influenced leader or influential leader is actually showing the kind of life he's leading more than the words that he tells his people. So, it's hard to encourage people if you're not yourself walking your talk. And it's also hard to put a mask on yourself to show what is that kind of level of success. It's easier to say, to achieve something, but it's harder when people would see that you're also, every day, if you go out in the market or if you see people, there are different kinds of rejections and challenges that one leader or one advisor can face. If you can relate to your advisors how difficult it is and have more ideas and true experience, knowledge, and wisdom from your experience, that's more credible naman to your advisor. So that's why it's very important that leaders, for me, leaders should also be MDRT members.
Role model, no? Setting showing the way, setting the example, no? And I also heard one advisor, na naging MDRT. Nung tinanong namin, why did you become an MDRT? Sabi niya, talagang very contagious daw din kasi dun sa team, no? When you have several MDRT as members of the team also. So siguro isa din yun, no, sa importansya, no, of MDRT sa pagre-recruit, no, at yung pagre-retain, no, ng mga advisors. Okay.
Agnes, it's good that you mentioned about leading by example. No? Ako talagang I subscribe to that. And in a team, sabi mo nga, you have been a leader and now you're exposed to other leaders. No? What do you think aspiring MDRTs or MDRTs already will continue to expect from leaders so that they will pursue, the aspiring MDRTs will pursue their dream to be MDRTs and be in the best position to take care of their customers?
I'd like to say that every time an MDRT member, if you compare a rookie or maybe an advisor that hasn't really become an MDRT yet, an aspirant, comparing to MDRT qualifier, the most number of rejections, if you ask the two advisors, is the one that made it to MDRT. So as long as you keep on going, doing your habits and really expanding your knowledge and skills, these are important that you'd be able to teach the right techniques as well to your fellow advisors and to your team.
So again, it's being a good real life example, and then as you've mentioned, sharing that experience para hindi matakot, parang kasama sa laro yan eh, okay? Yung nababagsak, 'di ba? Pero ang nananalo, yung tumatayo. Parang I guess that's what you're saying.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Yes, ako ito na Agnes. Parang kailan lang nag-umpisa tayo ngayon, nasa patapos na tayo ng ating interview, no? Sarap talaga pa nagkwentuhan lang tayo. So, I'm into my last question already. So, at this juncture, Agnes, can you share with us for 2022, ano ba ang mga plano, ano ba ang mga initiatives na inilatag ng MDRT Philippines so that one, you can further increase the membership para mas maraming maging MDRT, at second, ma-retain pa rin yung mga MDRTs na natin kasalukuyan.
So ever since the pandemic happened, we always have events or convention that would encourage MDRT members. So before the pandemic happened, we always have this Philippine Life Insurance Congress. So it's a partnership project of LUAP and MDRT Philippines, inviting not just the MDRTs, but also the aspirants and all financial members or advisors throughout the nation. So that always happens in the first quarter of the year, which this year we did have March, no? And then we also recently, when pandemic came, we have a first-time member assembly. These are attended by all the first-time qualifiers, which will actually equip them more sales ideas, and of course, create a community that they'll feel to be part of the MDRT family. So we had that last February, attended around 500 first-time members. And upcoming is we do have 2 tea time sessions. Tea time would be actually a packet sessions, which of course ever since pandemic happened, we open the sessions to all aspirants, not limiting to the members, because hoping that we wanted to encourage more advisors to achieve this kind of level of maturity as in the industry. So we have 2 tea times, or MDRT time, open to all across nation. Second session will be on July 11. So basically, the 2 tea time sessions will be about transitioning from not just pandemic, post-pandemic. It's really about how do you integrate doing business in a hybrid manner. At the same time, understanding the whole picture, being an advisor, not just segmenting it through era or labeling it through hardships, but really seeing it at the big picture that every challenge just have a label, maybe war or pandemic. But to be honest, our industry is really dynamic. So after these 2 sessions, which will have international speakers, and then the last would be MDRT Day. Now, we've been doing this annually, and our first virtual session was last year during the pandemic. And this year we also have another virtual, August 11 and 12.
Okay, so that will be another busy day. Busy year. Busy
Yes.
week for MDRT.
Yes, and I'd also like to correct myself a while ago. Our global convention, which will happen in Sydney, this is actually like a annual meeting, but this would be a second portion, which is named Global Convention. Should be in August 28 to 31, not in September. Okay. And the annual meeting would be in Boston, June 26 to 29.
Okay. So hopefully marami na rin mga Philippine MDRTs ang maka-attend in both conventions, because sabi nga natin iba pa rin yung physical iba pa rin talagang you are in the company of your fellow MDRTs kasi talagang sabi nga ni Mr. Ivy, once you have attended an MDRT convention, gugustuhin mo na yun talaga no, yearly, no, for yourselves, no. So good luck on all those activities, no, Agnes. Sana ay mas marami pa kayong matulungan, no, ng mga advisors, no, to really, no, not just qualify an MDRT just for the title, pero sabi nga natin, no, to really help them be more professional and be better in what they're doing.
Agnes,
you.
ako
Yes
naman,
po.
ang last question ko naman sa iyo is about collaboration. Ang isang maganda sa industry natin, maraming mga associations. You've got PLIA, you've got GAMA, of course, yung MDRT, saka yung LUAP, meron pang associations ng mga employees, no? Again, with the desire to professionalize the industry. So, anong level of collaboration or is there a consciousness amongst association to really collaborate and come out with a one huge theme or activity for the entire industry?
I think in the long run, Sir Ivy, there would have a collaboration. I'm already seeing it somehow in the near future. If it's not near, maybe in a later time. But because everything is in conjunction and in synchronized, everything is interrelated, whether you like it or not. So so far, what MDRT is doing is we're opening all the MDRT company chairs who are in the position serving in the industry and term. If anybody wants a speaker from our team or from the organization, we accommodate that per company. That's their current structure or current service that we give in a sense that we want to collaborate and help provide the service that we can help to achieve whatever the company needs. But for the advisors, aside from all this organization, I'm really looking and hoping that later on different organizations will have a big event somehow. And it's really a good idea, Sir Ivy, that you mentioned this. Hopefully, because everybody knows everybody in the organization. So it's with the heart of commitment and service. I'm confident that all the leaders will somehow later on come up with something to provide the advisors in the industry.
So I recall when I was the president of PLIA, we invited the president of LUAP then. I recall si Eman Paras. The reason behind that was for LUAP to explain to the presidents of the companies what they're doing. Kasi if the presidents understand what they're doing, then the support can come, diba? So again, there are so many opportunities of collaboration when people reach out. So I now that you're in a very good position because you're the head of two huge organizations, I am sure that you will reach out to the others so that parang to even grow the industry. So again, Agnes, ang bilis ng oras, we want to thank you, no, for reminding everyone that MDRT is not just a designation. Actually, sabi mo nga, MDRT is actually having the knowledge, the skills, and the discipline to best take good care of the customers. So again, hats off to you and MDRT and LUAP, no?
Thank you, Sir Ivy. Thank you, Miss J.
Thanks again, Agnes, for joining us tonight, no? And we wish you all the best in the remaining months of 2022. Magiging very, very busy to. Mabilisan 2022 sa'yo with MDRT Philippines and LUAP, no, on both your hands, no? So thank you very much again for joining us. And thank you everyone for spending your Thursday evening with Mr. Ivy and myself, and of course with our special guest, Miss Agnes Ng-Tan. No? May the force of MDRT be with you all. No? So, and all the best for 2022. And we invite you again for another interesting discussion next week as we feature an experienced veteran in the industry, in the life insurance industry in Asia. No, we will be having Mr. Jim Key, no, a consultant, a coach, no, and a trainer, no, who has been parang serving several Filipino insurance companies and also advisors and leaders. So medyo familiar rin si Mr. Jim Key in the local industry landscape natin. Okay, so that will be next week. That's June 2, no? Ang bilis, June na tayo. Kailan lang nag-umpisa tayo ng May? Ngayon ay June na tayo. So that's next Thursday, 8 p.m. here in Leaders in Action.
Real leaders, real stories, real talk.
Wow. So thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
everybody. Thank you again,
you,
Agnes,
Agnes.
for joining
Thank you
us.
for having me.
Yes,
Our
thank you.
pleasure.
Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye.